Okay, so I know that my initial impression of software update 10.4 was not all that great, but like I told Nico in the video, we would spend more time together on this and we both agreed that we would do better next time. Well, over the next few days, we spent over 200 miles driving on the full self-drive beta, and I have to say, he redeemed himself. So here's my, let's say, first impression. And I say second because I ventured out away from my house to more like destination driving, like going to work or going to a client's house. So first off, let's talk about cornering. My concern has been not getting into the turn lane soon enough, as you know, but after spending much more time with this, I felt like it actually is working a lot better. Here I am turning out of a neighborhood to the left. As usual, it is pouring rain, and when the light turns green, the car waits until the crossing car goes through, then makes its turn. It was very, very impressive. At that distance, it would be really easy for the car to have just turned and then be like, oh shoot, there's a car coming. Now this was a challenging turn. The car had to veer right towards the stop sign, then it had to steer left for a little while on the main road, then take a quick right onto the actual turn, and it did it all perfectly smooth, just like a normal human driver would do it, maybe even better. Same thing here with the stop sign. It came up to the stop sign nice and smooth and then made a nice decisive turn, and that's what I love seeing about turns like this, is it just felt natural, and that's where this 10.4, the more I drove with it, started feeling a lot more like, just natural. So now if you guys are enjoying this video and you're having some fun, please take a second to go down and hit the like button as well as subscribe. YouTube sends this video out much faster to more and more people the more you guys interact with the video. That would mean a lot to me, thanks. Here I am coming up to a turn that will put me on the interstate, and look how perfectly it handles this. It starts getting over with plenty of time before the turn. This is a nice improvement because with all that traffic, if it had waited until the turn lane was closer, that turn lane could have filled up with cars and then it would have been very, very difficult to even get over at all. And this has happened quite a few times to me, even in the same location with 10.3. And I thought this was really cool. After I got on the ramp, I was impressed it didn't try to pass the cars on the side like it did last time. And it did all this stop and go very smooth, and at the end it waited its turn and then shot out like a rocket fast onto the freeway, which I love. It used to go so slow on ramps, I was always nervous having to help it, but this time, no need. That was something that's definitely better with 10.4. Now let's take a quick minute and talk about the sponsor of this video and the discounts they are offering. Jeda is one of the most popular names in the Tesla accessory game, known for their high quality and power-packed accessories. Today we're taking a look at one of the most powerful combos for your Tesla console, the Hub and SSD combo. The Hub takes your 2 ports and turns it into 6, including 2 USB-C ports and 3 USB-A ports on the front. The 6th USB-A port is hidden down below in the secret compartment where you can put your Sentry and Dashcam zip drive. This is where the SSD comes in, making this a perfect set. Just remove that door and replace it with the door attached to the 256GB solid state drive, and it snaps back in with magnets. You can pick this up from the link down below. Just make sure you use my discount code CfTesla and you'll get $10 off your order. Now back to your drive. On this turn, there was a flashing yellow light and the car just wouldn't go into this neighborhood. It wasn't until the light turned solid green that it actually went. So I guess that's not been added to 10.4. I know this is something that has not been really a part of full self-drive beta for the last few updates, so it's still not. I found this interesting. It seems the car is getting confused with the blinker. Watch here how the blinker keeps coming on for a few seconds and then going off, and then it does this over and over again, even though it wasn't at the turn or really even close to it. Now you see this as well here in the daylight the next day. The car kept putting the blinker on to turn right, even though I wasn't even at the turn, and on top of that I wasn't even turning right, I was turning left. Now the car never tried to turn right, but the blinker just kept coming on, so I thought that was a little bit strange and something I didn't see in 10.3.1. I did notice it was doing better overall at getting over into the correct lane earlier so it could make the turns like it did here. Then at the green light, it quickly turned and got ready to enter the freeway. It wasn't all good for turning though. I found when there was 2 turn lanes, it often got confused like it did here. It was just fine where it was, but at the end, it quickly and very aggressively darted into the other turn lane. Now I often try to think of this as like, would a driver have done the same thing when I'm judging what the car does when it's kind of weird? So you think about it like if I was in that lane and realized, oh no, after I make this turn, I gotta quickly turn into the mall there in the parking lot, I would have probably done that same thing, jumped over to the next turn lane over. Now I can't say that's what the car was doing there and it didn't need to make a quick turn, but it's hard to say if that was a wrong thing or was just awkward because it wasn't doing what I expected it to do. And that's what's hard when you're judging this stuff when you're driving. It's like, well, was it actually wrong to do it, or is it just not what I would have done or what I expected the car to do? And trying to keep those separate is a bit of a challenging thing. Now this one was a big deal for me. Remember in my last video, I showed you how it wouldn't get into that turn lane soon enough? Well, this time on that same turn, it did the opposite. Look how early it gets into that turn lane. I mean, that is probably a quarter mile before the turn. Hey, it's a step in the right direction, right? But it got into there, and if there were cars already in that lineup, it would have easily gotten in there and not been blocked out. So that was a pretty awesome improvement. And the next time I went around and tried it again, it also did the same thing. So, I mean, yeah, don't get in that soon. It's a bit of an extreme, but at least it got over. Now here we passed a school bus dropping off kids, and I was behind the car in front of me, and that was making my car stop. But I really wish that I could have been that front car so I could have seen what the car would have done when that stop sign came out and the light started to flash on that stop sign. Now, the stop signs are not the exact same size as the ones on the road, so I'm not sure what the car would have done, but maybe some of you guys have experienced this out there. Please let me know what your car did on the full self-drive beta when you try to pass a school bus. I'd be curious to know. Here the car did an amazing job navigating a car coming directly at it in a neighborhood with no center lines. The car started coming towards me. The car went out of the center of the neighborhood over to the right and then past the car and then got back into the center again, which is something a lot of you guys have been asking about and were concerned about. Well, here it did everything perfect. There's nothing about that I have complaints about. Something else I didn't see before was the alert full self-drive may be disgraded. And it said this due to bad weather. Then it said features may be restricted on the next drive. Now, I'm not really sure 100% what that all means, but I'm guessing this was referring to the bad weather still, since it was all kind of tied to it, and to be prepared for navigating an autopilot to be done a little bit different on the next drive, considering maybe they're thinking it's gonna also be bad in the future. I wasn't really sure what that all meant. Maybe some of you guys have an explanation for that, but I noticed that it came up when the weather was starting to get bad, but it wasn't kicking me out of navigating an autopilot yet, which I thought was kind of neat to have that feedback before it actually kicked me out, because with the previous update, at least this, I never saw it in the previous update, what would happen is it would just all of a sudden say navigating autopilot unavailable due to weather and just kick me right out. So, but this one actually gave you a little bit of warning, let you know that it's fighting it, it's concerned about it, before it actually did kick me out. And a lot of times it didn't even kick me out. But when the car did eventually kick me out, I've noticed that it took a long time to get me back into navigating autopilot. So I thought that was a little bit strange. I mean, you can see here that like it's barely even sprinkling, and the car is capable of driving on navigating autopilot with the full self-drive beta. Okay, assume everything I'm talking about is with the beta, full self-drive, in a lot worse weather. You've seen me drive with crazy rainstorms, and here it was not even close to any of that, and it wouldn't go back in for probably 2 or 3 miles, and it finally clicked back in when the rain was coming down a lot harder. So I'm not sure if there was just a weird coincidence, but this happened multiple times over the last few days as it's been raining, where it just goes off and then it just takes a lot longer to get back in. And maybe that's a good thing though. Maybe it's just trying to keep it from bouncing in and out all the time, because that could also be dangerous. So I'm kind of going with that until I hear otherwise. I was also very impressed with this. Every time in the past I pass this stop sign, you can see that it's kind of tilted, so it looks like it's a part of the road I'm on, but it's really for a parallel road coming up. The car would like brake check really hard, thinking that it was about to run through a stop sign. But here it went right through, no problem. And it's never gone right through before. I've driven past this probably 4 or 5 times on the beta, and it's always brake checked for it, but this time right through. And that's been a big improvement on a lot of this drive, is that it just wasn't brake checking. It's been really great on that compared to 10.3.1. I felt it did a very good job on this windy road, just keeping itself centered. I never had any times where I felt like it was like hugging the center lane or really the fog lane on the right. I thought I just did a really great job centering, which is awesome. You know, it's all about comfort, and I felt really comfortable for most of this drive. So just one more thing I want to show you guys here, and that is that last time when I came through here on 10.3.1, the car got into the bus lane on the far right there. But this time, as I'm coming off the interstate here and having to take this right, there's 2 turn lanes to the right, the car just stays in the turn lane it's supposed to be, and it doesn't get into that bus lane. I keep having to jerk it out of it, but this time it was nice and smooth, got me right up to the light and made the turn. So I feel like that is another big improvement that I didn't know was going on with this update, but after driving it more, there's some really distinctive things that have improved with this update. So let me know what are some of the things you guys have noticed are really improved with this update. Are you guys having the same experiences as me the more you drive it on 10.4? Like I said, at first I was kind of negative about it, but the more time I put into it, my next impression was a lot better. So I was really glad to see that. I'll just remind everybody to make sure that you do hit that little video camera button if your car does do something kind of sketchy, so all that data goes back to Tesla to help improve it. Also, I want to remind you guys that I'm starting a few other different channels, Tesla reactions, a bunch of fun stuff we're doing. So if you guys have Tesla cam or dash footage, anything kind of exciting that that's happened inside of your Tesla, send that to the email down below in the description, and I'll maybe feature it on one of the videos to come. I'm gonna get a lot of footage before I start releasing videos on that channel. It takes a while to get these things actually started, but it'll be a ton of fun. It'll be reactions, not just showing you videos, but reactions between my wife and I and everything on these videos. Should be a good time. So thanks again for watching this video, guys, and coming back time and time again. So as you guys know, I'm trying to get to 40,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I really need your help to do that. I'm 9,000 away from that, and we've done it before in this shorter time period, but I really need your guys' help. So if you can go down there and hit that subscribe button for me if you enjoy my videos at all. You can even ignore me when I post stuff, I don't care, but please hit that subscribe button and help me get closer to my goal of 40,000. Thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys on the next video.